The next marvelous advancement in robotics is artificial intelligence.
The Creator is one of the most refreshing films I've seen in a long time. In an era where there is very little creativity coming out of Hollywood, let alone originality, one of the genres that has really taken a hit has been science fiction. So when I heard that a wholly original film about a war between AI and humans that was being directed by the Rogue One guy was coming out, my anticipation was very high. And the trailers just made that anticipation even higher. Because for a film with only an $80 million budget, this film looked visually stunning. And now after seeing it, I can confirm that The Creator is very good. So The Creator takes place about 4 decades in the future, and by this point, artificial intelligence has completely taken over every aspect of human endeavor, and it has gotten so advanced that AI and humans now live together in society. That's until a nuclear bomb is launched by the AI and explodes in Los Angeles, starting a war between humans and AI. America and the Western world outlaws AI and is determined to eliminate all artificial intelligence because they now see it as a threat to their very survival. While in the Eastern world, on the continent of New Asia, they still want to coexist with AI peacefully. Right from the very get-go, the whole premise of this film is very interesting, especially in the current world we're living in 2023. It really struck a nerve with me because we ourselves are in the sort of first or infant stages of AI, and I can already see AI starting to take over aspects of our lives, in particular writing and content creation. We literally have a writer's strike currently going on in Hollywood as we speak because artificial intelligence is pushing them out of their jobs. So this world that Gareth Edwards has created really hits home because this very much feels like a reality that seems to be becoming more and more real as each day goes by. So this film was directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed Rogue One, which is easily the best thing to come out of Disney Star Wars. And all the strengths that can be found in his work in Rogue One carry over so well to The Creator. He's so good at giving us very engaging stories with interesting subject matter, and his films are always visually stunning. I still can't believe that this film was only made for $80 million. The cinematography, costume designs, and set designs all look incredible, and it really just goes to show that you don't need excessive CGI to make a movie look good. In fact, this movie looks far better than some of the hundred upon hundreds of $1 million CGI shitfest being pumped out by Hollywood. You can tell that they shot this film in real locations, and only used CGI to enhance the image, not as the backbone of everything. The performances in this film I also thought were quite strong. John David Washington as Joshua gives a very grounded and engaging performance. Although his character might not have that much depth in terms of personality, I thought that the situation that the film puts his character in was quite interesting. He's fighting in a war where he doesn't really fit into either side. It's only by the end of the film, after his character goes on a deep emotional journey, that he eventually sides with the people of New Asia. Madeline Una Voiles is also very good as our other main protagonist, Alfie. She doesn't say a lot throughout this film and mostly serves as a vessel to move the plot forward, but when she does get her chances to shine, she really makes the most out of them. In particular, I think the strongest parts of the film for me come when Alfie and Joshua's characters interact with each other. I do, however, wish they gave more screen time to Gemma Chan. The eventual emotional payoff with her character I don't think pays off quite as well as the filmmakers might have been hoping for, because I didn't have any time throughout the film to really connect with her. But that's really only a minor gripe that I can overlook. One thing that I wasn't expecting going into this film that I have to mention is the soundtrack for The Creator is phenomenal. When I left the theater, I immediately went on my phone to search who composed that score. And when I saw that this was Hans Zimmer's work, I wasn't surprised in the least. He elevates this film so much, and his music really helps set a tone throughout. It's mostly kind of ambient sounding music, but it's blended so well with very powerful string motifs, gorgeous woodwinds, and occasional voices that it gave me a sense of religiosity and deeper meaning to everything on screen. In particular, the soundtrack titled A Place in the Sky is so good that I had chills running up my body, and it made the emotionality of that scene hit so hard, as it's also one of the most important scenes of the movie as it deals with one of the major concepts and themes of the film. It also can't go without being said that the action in The Creator is really good. Now that I come to think of it, I think that Gareth Edwards is establishing himself as one of the best action directors working in Hollywood. Whenever anybody thinks of his film Rogue One, they probably think about the third act, which was the big action finale. That part of the film is so good that you could honestly argue that it's probably one of the top 5 singular acts in all of Star Wars. And while The Creator doesn't quite live up to Rogue One in that regard, it is still an absolute joy to watch. The cinematography during these fights and the editing is so crisp and smooth, and they really nailed getting across the sort of futuristic style of combat feel. There's also a decent amount of action sequences that take place during the daytime, and whenever Gareth Edwards directs action during the day, It always looks so damn good. But even though the creator has a lot of strengths to it, it isn't without its flaws. In particular, I think that the main thing that the creator struggles with is from time to time it feels very narratively bloated. There's so much information and concepts being thrown at us, so many characters to juggle between, and so many locations it's jumping between that it's very easy for a lot of it to go over your head. The first act is also a little bit choppy, and it does take some time for this film, I think, to find its footing. It also is a little sluggish at times, especially in the second act. The chapter titled The Friend, I think, could have largely benefited from being heavily trimmed down, because I don't think a lot of it was super essential for the story to make sense. But even though the film has these problems, and it definitely would have largely benefited if they were eradicated, it certainly doesn't ruin the film for me. So overall, even though the creator has some flaws, it's so strong in its other areas that I think that most people are going to come out of it very satisfied. The creator, for me, just exemplifies what I wish Hollywood would return to. No longer do they seemingly trust filmmakers to create something entirely fresh and new, and instead opt to play it safe and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the big franchise films. But in the last couple of years, they just aren't making money. And the creator shows that with the right person at the helm, you can create something entirely original that's interesting and engaging for not a whole lot of money. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you made it this far and you enjoy this type of content, do me a favor by leaving a like and hitting that subscribe button. If you want to be notified about when I post my next video, be sure to hit that notification bell. But anyways, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys next time.